Does encouragement, patience, and teaching go together? Sure it does. Good morning, guys and gals. It is March the 11th, and when March the 11th, we're going to be looking at 2 Timothy 4:2, and it says, encourage them with great patience and careful teaching. Encourage them with great patience and careful teaching. If I'm correct, I believe that was when the Apostle Paul was talking to his young minister, Timothy, and he was telling them how to work with new Christians. Now, when I read this verse, all by itself, I kind of think of kids. And in doing that and thinking of kids, I wrote today's devotional thinking about kids. You know, we used to have a big kids' day on Lake Tenkiller. We had it in early June, the first Saturday in June, and we did that for probably about 25 years. And we don't do that anymore. One of the main reasons we don't do it is I guess we might have got too old to do all the work was involved in it. But really probably the main reason was we moved down here to in the Arbuckle Mountains, and we're not there all the time like we were then. It takes a tremendous amount of work to put that kids tournament on. We gave away a rod and reel to every kid. We gave a goodie bag to every kid. We fed them all. We actually had a class that they went through where they heard the gospel. They went through all of these various stations, and it was a tremendous, tremendous event. And so, like I said, this scripture was when Paul was telling Timothy how to do with some of the early Christians, encourage them with great patience and careful teaching. But I wrote the devotional about kids. Kids Day on Lake Tenkiller is always the first Saturday in June. We did that for about 25 years. Here's what we did. We allowed the first 500 kids who sign up to attend. Now, you have about 10% no-show, so we actually allowed 550 or 560 kids to show up. And we got to know how many's there because, like I said, we gave them all a rod and reel, gave them all a hat, gave them all a T-shirt, gave them all a goodie bag, fed them, gave them all ice cream, so we had to really know how many was there. But get this, we had more than 100 volunteers. So for 500 kids, we had 100 volunteers. These volunteers ranges from teenagers, some of them who would go through the kids' age when they were 6 or 7 or 8 years old, and once they got to be teenagers and past the age of, I believe, 12 was as old as you could go through that. They turned around and started being volunteers, teaching other kids how to fish. It ranged from the teenagers, some who attended Kids Day earlier in their lives, to guys and gals over 70 years old. That's right, guys and gals over 70 years old volunteering their time, and it was just pure joy to watch them patiently teach and encourage those young kids learning how to fish. And believe me, not all of those 500 kids are easy to be patient with. Some of them might have been some of y'all's kids, as a matter of fact. In fact, some of them might have been some of y'all. Some of y'all watching this right here. We've got a lot of YouTubers from Oklahoma that listen to this and watch this channel all the time. So some of y'all probably went to the Kids Day. Let me know if you did. Pause for a moment or two today and think of someone who was encouraging as he or she patiently taught you something. When you come up with a couple of names, now would be a great time to thank them for it. Shoot them a text, shoot them an email, give them a call, thank them for being patient as they taught you something. Might have been fishing, might have been how to throw a curveball, might have been how to shoot a basketball properly, might have been something they taught you, a Sunday school verse, just something that they patiently taught you when you were younger. By the way, don't forget your mom and dad. Do not forget to thank your mom and dad. Here's our tip for the day. A suspended crankbait will stay in the strike zone longer, yielding more fish in cold water. A suspended crankbait will stay in the strike zone longer, yielding more fish in cold water. I'm going to add just a little bit to that tip. When the water's cold, the fish are going to be a little lethargic. They're not going to be nearly as aggressive. So when you put that crankbait and you stop it, let it stay stopped as long as you possibly can. When you ring down and you stop it, leave it stopped. Just like you do a jerk bait, leave it stopped as long as you possibly can before you start cranking again. Crank, stop. When you get ready to crank again, wait just another second or two or three and start cranking. And you'll catch a lot more fish. Guys and girls, have you a great one out there. I love you.